Hey, bitches, did you miss me? I'm sure you did. Anyway, here's the second episode of The Great Journey. Let's get started. If I remember correctly, we left off by making chests, right? Yes. So the thing with chests is, they are a f***ing scam because you need lumber to craft chests, not planks. And you get half of the resources that you normally would by turning wood into lumber. Let me show you. So normally 1 log gives you 4 planks, and then you can take 8 planks, so 2 logs, to make 1 chest, right? Well, here 1 log gives you 8 lumber, and with that 8 lumber you make 1 chest. So because of that, use half the wood, and also because of that, the chest has half of its actual storage. So after placing some of our items into the chests and making some extra large vessels and placing them down, I decided to look into our quest system to see what we can actually craft with this lumber. I really should make barrels.
Yeah, so you can also start producing that leather.
Barrels are one of the most important items you can make with planks at the start of the game. They are actually your first liquid storage as well. You can take barrels, place them on the ground, and then put, for example, water inside, and then you can make different recipes by shoving items into them and closing them. One of the most important recipes at the start, for example, are putting bone meal in, which makes lime water. Then you can also put wood into it to make tannin, and you can also make different alcohols. For example, putting sugar and water will grant you rum. If you leave that rum to age, you get aged rum. That rum actually gives you speed too, which is very, very good, especially in the early game. There's other alcohol recipes as well, but I'd say this is the best one. In TFG, mobs don't just drop you leather like in vanilla. You actually have to craft it from hide, which they drop. Different animals drop different hides. You have small, medium, and big hides. This process is actually the same as in real life, so pay attention. First of all, you take your hide and you put it in lime water. As I mentioned before, that is made by putting bone meal into water. That lime water will then dissolve the hairs on the hide so it can then be scraped. Then you take your hide and you scrape it on a log with a knife. After that, you put it in some water so the hairs fully fall off and the leather becomes clean. Lastly, you put it in some tannin, which is made by putting logs in water. That will preserve the leather and make it durable. Side note about food preservation. Grain with the...
Oh.
No! You're not existing anymore. It's not happening.
That's why you close the vessels.
But they don't have
That's
anything
more.
in them.
Chill. That's how the mechanic works.
Anyways, moving on. Since Philip got the pickaxe, he could actually start mining instead of just collecting rocks on the surface. So let's see how he's doing. And collapsed mines has been increased to 1. Good job, Philip. Since Philip still hasn't set up his goddamn recording software, we're gonna wait until I collapse the mine later to show you how that actually works. For now, just keep this in the back of your mind so you know that he collapsed on too. Alright, so that was the first successful mining trip Philip just came back from. This is the bismuth mine that he was in. So, as you can see, he brought a lot of bismuth back, but again, the ores themselves melt into like shitty amounts. So here in TFG, you have different ways to process different ores into like powders and shit, so you can get more out of them. So here we are checking for the current best possible way to optimize our ore processing. And in our case, this is the grindstone. So I'm making the grindstone head right now. And here is the other part of the grindstone. And now when I right click here, you can see that it spins and it crushes the ore down into crushed ore. Now you can already see that it does melt into more ore. Now I can also take the crushed ore, smash it with a hammer in my inventory, and get it into unclean dust. See, that already gives even more. And what I can do now as a final touch is I throw it in some water. It's gonna clean out those impurities. Don't ask how that works. And then, oh my god, it gives almost a full ingot worth. That is insane for this early on. It's actually illegal. So, very nice. Anyway, so remember when I was deleting all of those fruit trees? So I got a lot of fruit leaves, which are a side drop of it. And with 3 fruit leaves, you can make a drying mat. This item is so good for preserving food because you can put fruit and other stuff on it. It dries, and then you have dried fruit. You put that in the vessel. It's so good. You have fruit for like 2-3 months. It's so OP. Another great item you can make with planks is the composter. You put the composter in the ground. Of course, the rainfall and temperature has to be correct, blah blah blah, random bullshit, doesn't matter. When you put it on the ground, you need green and brown items. Green items are like fruits and just in general like fresh stuff, but brown stuff is like pumpkins or hummus. Then you wait for that to compost, and then you get compost out of it, which you can right click on the ground to fertilize the soil, but we're gonna use bees for that. So the other option is to use it in crafting for the greenhouse, which we will get into a bit later, but it's very OP, so we should start making compost early. Speaking of food, are you hungry? Are you tired of eating just straight up cooked meat? I got you, homie. Remember when we made those pots? Well, let me tell you what you can do with them. You slap one on a campfire, burn that shit, and then you take some water, you put it in, and then here's the best part. Random bullshit go into the pot, boil, and here you got some soup. I'm not even kidding, by the way. You can throw meat, veggie, fruit, anything, even grain in here, and it's gonna like taste good. You can get so thick. You can get up to 30 hearts in this game by maxing out your food stat, because you have to eat vegetables, proteins, different shit. I'll show you everything on the graph here. But basically, you have to balance out eating different foods. So putting one of each, like let's say you put 1 fruit, 1 meat, 1 veggie, 1 grain into the soup, that's very good because you get different nutrients from the soup.
I'll try to get us this. Come on. Yes. I have a prospector pick.
Here I crafted a prospector pick and a chisel. The prospector pick is great because it allows you to search for ore nearby in a 16 by 16 radius. This can be increased, by the way, by making a higher tier, for example, like a steel one, but since we don't have that, we can't. And we need the chisel for smooth stone, which we needed for the grindstone as I showed you before. We also made some charcoal by smoking some logs underground.
We're making a charcoal pit. First charcoal pit, yay! Woohoo! Oh,
I like that sound.
it's going. Look at it. It's beautiful. Kinder Surprise. I have 41 charcoal.
And we are gonna need every single piece. Philip went mining again to get some more ores, and well...
Could it be a deal and bring me a few more ladders?
Sure.
So I crafted a fuck ton of ladders and delivered them to him. I also decided to grab some more fruit trees in the area. You know how the drill goes, cut at the branch and get the sapling. After I planted the saplings, it was time to take a huge step in progression. The huge step in question being forging. We already crafted an anvil by just smacking a huge stone with a hammer to make the default anvil, but I didn't tell you about it because it's just basically useless until we actually have a forge to cook stuff in. But now we actually will be doing that. So you've probably realized that smashing rocks just gives you stones, not actual blocks like in vanilla. So how you get full blocks here is basically you have to isolate a block so it's covered by air on all sides. Here you can see Philip getting 4, which is delicious. So after you have 5 of them, you place them like this, you put charcoal in the middle, and then you burn it, and then you get a forge. it gives you a menu. It's basically like a furnace, and then you can put ores in, or ingots in this case. It heats them up, and when they're hot enough, you can work them. We also crafted the bellows, which can be used to heat up the forge, because by itself it's not going to reach hot temperatures. You actually need to like pump air into it so it gets to those delicious hot temperatures where they're hot enough to melt the ingots. And there you have it, folks. That is episode 2 of the Great Journey. I'm so sorry that this took an entire month. I got bit by a tick, and I got Lyme disease, and I got completely cooked for a whole month. I couldn't do anything. I'm so sorry. I'm back now. I'll be uploading every 2 weeks as it should have been. But oh my god, what an awful way to start off a series by getting cooked by a tick. I'm so sorry, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks with episode 3. I can't wait because we get bees in episode 3, a little spoiler. And that is my favorite part of the mod pack so far. So yeah, really excited for that. Thank you, and bye bye.